You are beautiful. So I've been an organizer all my life, and I always wondered, what if you planned a revolution and everybody came? And 1 year ago, women did just that. So I think when our country was in free fall, the Women's March got us out of our despair and out of our homes and into the street. And ever since that day, women have been shaking the foundation of America.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for 12 months and counting, the only thing, and the one thing standing between this administration and their goal of ending access to health care and reproductive rights and safe and legal abortion has been millions of determined women. And the women, that's right, you did it. You're the ones who did it. The Women's March fueled the grassroots revolution that ensured that today, at Planned Parenthood health centers in every corner of our country, including Las Vegas, Nevada, our doors are open. The Women's March inspired airport protests in support of our Muslim brothers and sisters. It inspired millions of people to demand accountability in Congress, in Hollywood, and in workplaces all across America. And today, we stand in solidarity with the dreamers and in solidarity with the United States senators who are fighting back and saying, these are Americans too.
Yeah.
All across the country, the Women's March inspired doctors and teachers and mothers to become activists and organizers, and yes, candidates for office. And from Virginia to Alabama and to last week in Wisconsin, women have beaten the odds to elect our own to office. Women of color, transgender women, rural and urban women. And these victories were led and made possible by women of color. So, right? So white women, listen up. We've got to do better. We've got to do better. It is not up to women of color to save this country from itself. That's on all of us.
Yes.
That's on all of us. The good news is, when we are in full-on sisterhood, women are the most powerful political force in America. And when we recognize that no one is free until everyone is free, right? And that means no matter what country you come from, no matter who you love, no matter what you look like, no matter what, we are unstoppable. Together, we've seen what's possible when one step becomes a march, when one courageous act becomes a chain reaction, and one voice becomes a movement.
Can I see what the sign language interpreter?
The great Audre Lorde said,
By the.
when I dare to be powerful, and when I use my strength in the service of my vision,
really cool.
then it becomes less important whether or not I am afraid. And if we dare to be powerful, and if we use our strength in service of our vision, nothing and no one can stand in our way. Let's go do it. Thank you.
So let me hear you real loud. The next governor of Idaho, Representative Paulette Jordan. Thank you, sister. Lovely done. I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I actually want to tell you a quick story. But before I do, I want to tell you that my name is Paulette Jordan. And yes, I'm a proud citizen of the Coeur d'Alene tribe. And right now I am serving my second term as an Idaho House representative. And yes, I am running to be the first woman governor of Idaho and the first Native American running for governor of the United States of America. 5 years old, my grandmother took me to a memorial event in my community of the Coeur d'Alene tribe in Idaho. And at the end of this ceremony, she brought me to the center of this area, this repurposed gym. She already expected great things of me. And from infancy, my grandmother raised me to be a leader, to have an influential voice in my community. But I have to tell you that as this young, little 5-year-old girl, I was nervous in front of everyone, in front of all those people. My little body was shaking. But still, my grandmother, she handed me a microphone. She asked me to acknowledge everyone in the gym and to thank them, to express my gratitude for our remarkable community. And as I faced the crowded room and gave my thanks, I understood my grandmother's lesson. It was simple but essential, a value instilled in me by the most powerful woman throughout my upbringing, which is a leader should earn respect by paying respect. And 1 year ago today, we all marched together in our towns and communities across America. I marched on that day, January 21st, 2017, because it was the best way that I knew how to serve Idaho and to serve my country. I felt called to march the same way that I felt called to public service. And when I decided to attempt a feat that seemed exceedingly difficult, getting elected as a Democrat, a woman, and a native in conservative Idaho,
Awesome.
Yeah.
I still won. Not just once, but twice.
Hell yeah.
And this past year, after I marched with all of you, after I witnessed the power of all of us united, I knew it was time for me to attempt another difficult feat. That is why I am running for governor of Idaho in 2018. Now I'm here today because I want to issue the same call to all of you. It's time for you to run. I'm the mother of 2 boys, and in 2017, my son saw us march. They watched us organize to protect not just our access to health care, but our rights as women, as mothers and sisters. They watched us organize to protect our access to our rights to life, to lead this nation. They heard many of us come forward with our stories full of courage and vulnerability in 2017. And in 2018, they will see us run. And they will watch as the government elected to represent them fills with women and immigrants, and LGBT people, people with disabilities, and people of color. They're going to hear a new vision for our country. One that prioritizes justice for the many, not just a privileged few. I tell you, in the coming year, this election year, many Americans will hear plans for the future of their country. But this year, a historic number of those plans will manifest the visions of women. And I am proud to be one of the many women running for governor in the United States in 2018, and one of the thousands of women running for public office at all levels nationwide. I am proud to simply add my voice to this new chorus to share my vision, which is justice for all. And this is Idaho's future. This is the future of America. So since the 21st of January 2017, we've all seen the improbable come to fruition. We have felt the strength of our collective voice amidst the bitterness of a nation as divided as ours. And between news stories that terrify us and break our hearts, we've seen things that make us feel encouraged about our country. We've seen things we're excited to tell our kids about. And now we want to honor my grandmother and the values she instilled in me by thanking everyone here today. I want to acknowledge each of you for carrying this vital tradition into its second year, a new, more hopeful year with much higher expectations. We are optimistic today because we marched a year ago and because it worked. And because through the past year, through turmoil and pain for far too many, it quickened something powerful in all of us here, and all of us determined to uphold the integrity of our country. So I ask you to keep marching, and I encourage you to start running. As many of the greatest American victories began as silver linings on dark clouds, and today, as I hear my resounding country with new voices, I know that future victories are on the horizon. And finally, I'd like to give a shout out to my sisters in Boise who are marching today back home. I want to leave you all with a message that is simple yet essential. Inspired by the theme of yesterday's Women's March in Sandpoint, Idaho, near my hometown. The theme was first she marched, then she ran. Now we run. God bless you all. Love you, my family. Peace, love, and no drama.
And Dr. Tiffany Tyler.
We ask that you stand with us in a decree. We decree that today in this moment, the fullness of our personhood will be honored. I decree as an African American woman that my other two fists will finally be honored and respected. We decree that from this moment forward, not another sister, mother, daughter will be lost in our communities to preventable causes. For far too long, we've earned cents on the dollar of our counterparts. We've been overrepresented in all the wrong systems and underreported in our demise. But this day, in this moment, we stand linked arms together to say, not another dollar lost. We ask that you join us not only in this collective call, but with a commitment to furthering this work when we leave here today. We ask that you stand in the brilliance of who we are, knowing that as women gather together, we can make change happen. Not another moment shall we rest in what they've asked us to swallow. But today we say, not another woman, child, daughter, person lost. Because we are gathered here with purpose. We agree that we are whole today.
Hello, Las Vegas! Hello, Nevada! Are there any union women in the house here? I want to give a shout out to my SEIU sisters and brothers because these are the members that provide services to your community. These are the members that take care of the sick when you're in the hospital. So, my name is Louisa Blue. I'm an Executive Vice President of the Service Employees and Leaders since 19 ages to be able to negotiate a contract so that you have good working conditions, to be able to negotiate a contract so that you don't face discrimination or sexual harassment and you can raise your voice without reprisal. So that's why a union is important. And let me tell you something else. There is no way in hell that people can live on minimum wage. Am I right? Yeah! No way in hell. So we have to fight for a union and we have to fight for a minimum wage of $15 an hour so that we have dignity and respect and can raise our families. So that's what a union is about and that's what we're going to continue to do.
So sisters and brothers, because we do have some brothers here. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. So let me just say, 2018 is very, very crucial. And it's crucial not only this year, but what we do till 2020. That's how important this work is. So, we have so much more in common than what divides us. So much more in common. So, if you are with us and you stand for racial justice, then we have something in common. If you stand with us for gender equality and women's rights, then we have something in common. If you stand with us for LGBTQ rights, then we have something in common. If you stand with us for affordable housing, then we have something in common. If you stand with us for quality, accessible colleges, then you stand with us. If you expect quality public education for our kids, then you stand with us. If you believe that we should have clean air so our kids do not get asthma, if you believe that we should have clean drinking water and not worry about what's in there, then you stand with us. If you believe that food that is grown by undocumented workers are not covered with pesticides, then you stand with us. If you believe, sisters, that we can make a difference, not only this year, but in the years to come, then you stand with us. So let's unite on common issues and common grounds, because today we protest, tomorrow we vote. Today we protest, tomorrow we vote. Today we protest, tomorrow we vote. Let's not forget the dreamers. Let's not forget the dreamers, because we don't want our families to be separated. We do not want our families to be separated, and it is time that we acknowledge the hard work of undocumented workers in this country. It is time that we acknowledge that, and that we have to stand together. So, sisters and brothers, what are we going to do?
Vote!
What are we going to do?
Vote!
What are we going to do?
Vote! That was awesome. Yeah.
Buenas tardes, Nevada. Yo no puedo votar. Yo estoy indocumentada. I'm a dreamer. I cannot vote. People are choosing my life for me right now that I did not have a choice over. But who out there can vote? Who's going to register to vote? Who's going to get their cousin to vote?
Me.
My 12-year-old cousin, Natalia, lives in Arizona. I will not allow her to have a racist as a senator. I will not allow my family to continue living in fear. My mother gave everything to be here in this country for me to have a better future. My father gave his life working under the hot Las Vegas sun so that I could be here. And now they live in fear every single day that ICE will come and take them. And that's not a fake fear. That's not a fear that we can just overnight wish away. But you can protect us. Every single one of you here. Those that are undocumented. Estamos todos juntos. We're all together. Here in Nevada, we have proven. In Nevada, nosotros comprobamos that we are a state that fights for our immigrant community. Our immigrant community matters. Our lives are important, as well as so many of our friends that are out there fighting. Our Black Lives Matter, our LGBTQ rights, every single right out there. And right now, while we live in fear, do not be mistaken. We can say we are undocumented and unafraid. But our families are living in fear right now of being sent to countries away from their families. I can tell you from myself I think about it every single day. I will come home and see my mom and dad. That is real, and that's what our families are facing. And right now, our representatives are fighting for us to get a DREAM Act. And we all have to go out there and call them and make sure that our families are staying together. Thank you for being here in Nevada, but most importantly, go and vote. Vayan a votar. Registren a sus hijos. And also, our TPS families, we are with you. TPS, I hear them over there. TPS matters. Our families are important as well. Please register to vote. We need you. Thank you.
Awesome. Yesterday, around our incredible country, millions of people turned out to stand up for the truth of what democracy is. Now my sash says, I miss America. But I didn't miss it on the streets of LA yesterday. I found it there in 500,000 people who showed up chanting, this is what democracy looks like. And I don't miss it today because of you. You're what democracy looks like. So democracy is in our hands now. It's in every hand that casts a vote. So show your hand if you will vote in the elections this fall. And show your hand if you will get as many people to the polls who will prove to the whole world what our democracy looks like. I am so proud to be a woman in this movement to make America, America again. I'm proud to be the owner of a business, 5 restaurants, 400 employees, where all of our workers are treated with respect, where it's ingrained and unquestionable the ethic that no one should ever be harassed or bullied for any reason. And I'm proud to be the mother of 2 fine young men who respect the rights of women and everyone to equality and opportunity and dignity. Yesterday on my way to pick up my son to take him to the march in Los Angeles, I saw an elderly African-American woman in a manual wheelchair all by herself with a pink hat on, slowly making her way to the edge of the march, and it brought tears to my eyes. Because as a chef, I know that the combination of ingredients, diverse ingredients, equals far more than the sum of the parts.
Mountains, so we can walk it out and move. Mountains, and I'll rise like the day. I'll rise early, great. I'll rise up, and I'll do the again.
I rise like the phoenix from the fire. I rise because Sister Maya said you still got something to say and some words that still need to be spoken, because Tucker said we ain't got time to be laid down in no grave, child, you too woke. And because I still need to meet Angela Davis and Nikki Giovanni one day, and because my son's autism doesn't speak and I'm the only one who knows what he has to say. And that someone needs his melanin to pop to help start their day, because I'm black girl magic, and another black girl now rising to the occasion will be tragic, because unfortunately carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders has become tragic, like we're sprinkled in pixie dust. Bring back men like Huey P. is a must, and trust if he need me to ride, I will, because I've always had his back. They can steal our history, but that is a fact. Black men, I need you to remember that. I rise because Sojourner told me I'm the only one who knows the truth, and this blood that flows through my bloodline is living proof that I was put here in this revolution to fight. She said I'm the only one who still got the coordinates to get my people through the Underground Railroad to the drinking gourd at night. I rise to help those who are lost sight continue to fight, alright? because this revolution is being televised, it's being normalized to watch our people die. They're not even wearing a disguise. My people, open your eyes, and it's time for us to rise, because like the Nation of Islam, I'm unapologetically black. And those who don't like to the words of Brother Duke, I'm more concerned with black suffering than white guilt. I'm more concerned with black suffering than white guilt. I'm a black woman built out of fine diamonds and silk. I stand on the back of some strong people, diamonds in the rough. I'm Michelle Obama tough. I'm right because I don't think y'all have enough. This is our time. Let's reclaim it like anti-vaccine. Black women been voting. We've been popping. We've been on the scene. Shirley Chisholm, Condoleezza Rice, Barbara Jordan, just to name a few. Check IG file. Let me know what you find when you through. They trying to take rare African flowers and turn us into common everyday roses. They lie into the world. They portray us as only being loud, ghetto, and drama filled. They say we trying to tear down there which we have struggled to build. They trying to pull up the roots to stop the growth, but they forgot that we are both. We are women. We are the backbone. And you ask me why do I rise, and I say where do I begin? I am the fist in the air. I am the brick house that makes you stop in your tracks and stare. I take water and turn it into food. I am the beat behind the groove. I am black gold. I am woman vivacious and bold. I'm the one who's a slave block to make sure my king wasn't sold. I am dynamic and I can be anything. I'm these raindrops to tell you to take preparation for this storm I'm about to bring. And I rise. I rise. I rise.
Give it up for Just
Pro-choice.
Yes.
How are y'all doing today? My name is Ashley Bowman, and I'm a student at Nevada State College. I'm a dual major in the fields pertaining to nursing and deaf studies. My family is from Louisiana and West Africa, Nigeria. I am the true definition of an African American. I'm excited and delighted to be here with y'all today, to be in this creative space with such phenomenal women, to be doing this today, because that's what it's all about. Using your voice, making things happen, voting, standing for what you believe in. Let's continue this movement, ladies. My name is Jasmine Simon. Make some noise if you're a UNLV rebel, alumni, or just a supporter. Now make some noise if you put yourself through school. Clap if you have a full-time job, a part-time job, or even do a gig on the side. Now make some noise out there if you're a single mom. All of these things you guys have cheered for is who I am. I'm a volunteer with Make It Work Nevada. I fight to build a world that I'm proud to see my daughter raised in. I make it work. I make daily sacrifices so that my daughter can have a bright future and access to all of her needs. Now I have some questions for you. How many of you have worked or commuted to work within 24 hours, the entire 24 hours? Do you know what that's like? Well, I do.
My dad used to do that.
I know what it takes to make ends meet. And as a black woman, that's just what we do. I know what it does to work tirelessly without a thank you. Until recently. Sorry, my nose is running. In this moment, so many of us are talking about people like me. So many of us are thanking people like me. So many of us are taking the power like people like me and the issues that people like me face without even talking to me. And I'm here to say thank you for joining this fight. Thank you for being here in Las Vegas today. Thank you
for fighting for women like me. But don't fight for women like me unless you plan to fight with women like me. Today I stand alongside 3 phenomenal young ladies. And all of you in the audience, cisgender and transgender women, I thank you for showing up. Now I ask you to do better by putting legislators in office who listen to women like all of us. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. My name is Caitlin Caruso, and I use they and she pronouns. It would be remiss in this moment of unity to not acknowledge the young folk resisting. We're here, we are powerful, and we are leaders. We won't be ignored, this is ours. Young people too have demands. We see how the fight for immigrant rights, LGBTQ rights, racial justice, economic justice, and reproductive health are tethered together. The needs of young people and the marginalized must be centered. When people living in poverty, especially young people and people of color, are denied choice, when they suffer from unjust barriers like the Hyde Amendment, young people fight back. It's more than just the Hyde Amendment. It's state-sanctioned violence like the prison industrial complex, the criminalization of blackness, drug users, poverty, those engaging in the sex trade, mass deportations, not as a legacy of Trump, rather as a legacy of our former friend, Deporter-in-Chief. We have always fought for our vision of liberation. It's the allotting of 3 minutes for 4 young folk and threatening to cut a black trans activist from the program if they talk over. It's the Women's March refusing to represent the true folk who are doing this work and continuing to exclude trans and non-binary folk from this march. We need to be listening to the youth voices. After all, your liberation is tied to ours, and you need to start acting like it. To the young people who are fighting every day for the safety and liberation of all people, I see you, I respect you, I fight with you. This is ours, and it's time to make sure that this movement has been ours. The movement continues to ignore this, as we've seen. Our allies, like the Women's March, try to push young people to the side by cutting our time. Our allies tokenize us to seem inclusive, and they attempt to silence us when we are the ones actually doing the work. It's time y'all stop ignoring young folk, because we're paying attention to who the wolves are in the sheep's clothing. We continue to force change in our movements, in the adults around us. We continue to resist to make this world a more equitable one. So know this is ours.
So I want you to give it up real loud for a proud Latina. Whose family hails from the beautiful country of Nicaragua. She is the political director of one of my new favorite organizations, the bold, the organized, the powerful, indivisible. Give it up for Maria Urbina.
Yeah, y'all noticed I said it right. That's because I'm proud to be from Nevada. I'm so proud to be here today. I grew up in Carson City, just a few hours north of here, and it's a huge honor to share this stage right after young people took this stage and told us our truths. So thank you so much to the young students and activists who just left this stage. It's so powerful to be in movement, and it's so powerful to be here today representing Indivisible. So what's Indivisible? What's the Indivisible Guide? A year ago, we weren't even an organization yet. A year ago, we had thousands of groups formed, some even after the Women's March, to fight Trump in opposition to a dangerous agenda. And today we find ourselves with 6,000 activist constituent groups across the country who have said no to fighting against and for Dreamers and fighting against a Trump care that is dangerous for people who rely on health services. So today I'm here to say 2017 was just the start. 2017 was just the start of a woman-led movement that has started to run for office, that's expanded our political opportunities. And in 2018, we've seen nothing yet. I'm so excited to be in movement today with you. And I'm so excited that the Women's March chose such a special place like Nevada. Thank you so much, and la lucha sigue.
There's signs in your window.
Yeah, I know. I've been working around it.
Yeah. And you're tall.
What's up, Nevada? Woo! That's not loud enough. What's up, Nevada? Woo! Seats, Nevada. Bring it. Let's go. Get out, Nevada. Get seats, brothers and sisters. We didn't come here to play games. We came to set it on fire. Let's go. Let's go.
Y'all ain't ready for our next
Stepping on my
speaker.
stuff.
She is a powerful, unapologetic black woman. I miss every weekend seeing her beautiful, bold commentary, putting a mirror up to this country and the politics that it puts people of color through. I want you to be real loud and show a lot of love for Dr. Melissa Harris Perry.
It's doing pretty good so far. It's at 68.
Thank you for the shirt, Miss Davis.
Yes.
In March of 1960, Ebony magazine profiled my father, William, and his twin brother, Wes. It's a 3-page They both became college professors. My uncle made history as the first black man to get an engineering PhD from Princeton. He went on to head the Department of Aeronautical Engineering at MIT, and my father went on to become the first Dean of African American Affairs at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. Both of them have a legacy of civil rights activism, and they stood together, twin brothers, at the March on Washington. Between them, the twins have 10 adult children, and all of us retell this story all the time. All of us have a copy of that 1960 Ebony magazine in our house. We trace our origins to the genius twins. But I looked at the story again this morning, and I realized we're wrong. They are not the beginning. Ebony describes my dad and my uncle, saying that they are the sons of a seamstress who is a chronic arthritic who earns $35 a week. That's my grandma Rosa. Ebony magazine says that she earns this $35 sewing slipcovers at home. It's kind of silly to describe my grandma Rosa like that. You see, Grandma Rosa was a tiny woman with an enormous presence. Her skin was perfect until she was 80 years old. No lines, no wrinkles. She always moved slow because of the pain in her joints and her knees and her ankles. She always rubbed her hands because her fingers and her wrists hurt, but she would stand for hours cooking for me in her kitchen. She would sew me a pink dress every Easter. And in the summer of 1959, when my uncle and my dad got a chance to go to a summer program, she let them go, even though they weren't going to work that summer, and that meant they weren't going to earn any money that summer, and that meant they weren't going to buy any coal to heat the house that winter, and that meant she was going to be cold.
Oh, I see the sign up there.
In my family, we always act like my father and my uncle are the beginning. But it was my grandma Rosa.
every bit the genius that her sons were. She might have made money sewing slipcovers, but my grandma Rosa could make a wedding dress without a pattern. Her body hurt, but she said it was okay for them to go to school even though she was going to be cold, because she knew they had dreams. It was Grandma Rosa who took seriously the idea that all people are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was my Grandma Rosa who made America great. In a country that sold her grandmother on a street corner just a few miles from where she lived, in a country that offered her no warmth and no resources and no pattern, my Grandma Rosa stitched together generations of possibility for her children and her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren. Saying thank you to black women is not a damn hashtag. I'm here to say thank you to Grandma Rosa. I'm going to spend my life speaking and writing and working and thinking and voting to try to say thank you to Grandma Rosa. I'm going to try to be worthy of her sacrifices, and I tell you what, when somebody mistakes me for the maid, when somebody mistakes me for the help, when they think that they are making me small by doing that, they're going to straighten my back, and they're going to square my shoulders. Because of course I look like the maid. Because Grandma Rosa was the maid. And I'm only here because of the maid. Thank you, Grandma Rosa.
Who are missing and murdered in alarming numbers. We must do it for trans women of color, for sex workers, for all of our black and brown communities, to end police brutality. It can't just be about reproductive health and gender parity. Women are not a monolith. We live multi-issue lives. And white women, we have the power to transform things by decentering ourselves, by bringing room into the table the way that I've experienced with my fellow co-chairs, and I can tell you, it has benefited me as much as the rest of the movement. So, this year, I know for many of us has been exhausting and exhilarating, and for many of us, we've never been more challenged in our lives. But this is just the beginning of a journey, and so I have a few tips for those of you who want to continue on this journey into 2018 and beyond. When you are working with our most marginalized communities, really hear their stories. Really listen to what they are saying. Listen to their critiques. Do not reject them. Listen to their strategies and do what they say. Follow their lead. Support their campaigns. Don't just come up with what you think is a great idea and then go out and do it. Okay? And then also learn from their examples. Confront the implicit bias and the racism that you have within yourself on a daily basis. This is an internal process we all must do. Hold other white folks accountable, especially those you're closest to.
Yes, that's extremely true.
Ultimately, it will make you closer to them when they come out on the other side and see that none of us are free until all of us are free. So
enough. Wearing a Black Lives Matter tee is not enough. Posting on social media, not enough. I know we're tired. I know we're frustrated. I know we got a clown in the White House. But there's much more at stake here than that. So I want to thank all of you for being here today. We chose Nevada for a reason. And now my fellow co-chair, Tamika Mallory, is going to share more about our plan for 2018.
I can't take it personal. They stay home because they are tired of showing up for you and allowing you to stand on their backs and do nothing to protect our lives. Black women that came from Africa, black women to call Africa a shithole country. Donald Trump, you need to know, it further shows your disrespect for women because Africa is the mother of all civilization. So we don't come from shithole country. But Donald Trump, let me tell you something. You are an asshole. There's going to be division. Some people are sent to divide. That's their job. They show up to complain that they weren't invited even though they got every email. They know about the meeting, but they didn't show up because their job is to create division. Be not swayed, brothers and sisters. Dr. Dorothy Height said, women seldom do what we want to do. But we always do what we have to do. We have to stay together. We have to march together. We have to organize together. We have to mobilize together. And we have to vote together, even when we don't like one another. We have the power to change every policy and make every elected official work for us. But they cannot see division among us because they will go and do nothing for the people. We must stand up and be loud and be bold. The same way we were in Alabama. In Alabama, we went there and said, hell no. A man who was running around malls looking at teenagers, chasing little girls around. You can't be a senator in this country. No. And black women said, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. But white women, I want you to know that over half of you voted still the wrong way. From Emmett Till all the way to today, there is a problem in your community. It is not my job to fix it for you. It is your job to get uninvited from Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that. I want you to say, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Ladies and gentlemen who stand with us, and our brothers and sisters and folks who are gender non-conforming, we see you. Our trans brothers and sisters, we see you. Stop looking for someone else to lead you. Don't look to your left, don't look to your right. Look in the damn mirror. You are the leader. It starts with you. Go forward and do what you have to do. When they say get back, we say fight back. Get back. Fight back. Get back. Fight back. Get back. Fight back. God bless you. Go and do the work.
national organizers with the Women's March. Some things have changed, but other things don't change. I stand here before you still unapologetically Palestinian American. Unapologetically Muslim American. Unapologetically from Brooklyn, New York. What have I been doing the last year? Waking up every morning in perpetual outrage.
Yeah.
We should be ashamed to live in a country where they have pinned children who need access to health care against undocumented children who deserve to live in this country. They call us controversial. They say we make too much trouble. What I say to them is that well-behaved women rarely make history. We, my sisters and brothers, are in the business of making history. We stand on the shoulders of those before us who sacrificed for us to be here today.
Yeah, his t-shirts are, the layers are too many shirts. Yeah.
There's a lot of people out here trying to divide us by political ideology.
Like this, I don't know.
They say we're radical, that we're leftists. Sisters and brothers, there's nothing radical or leftist about believing that all people deserve access to health care. There's nothing radical or leftist about believing that all people should be able to worship freely in these United States of America. There's nothing radical or leftist about believing that undocumented people should be able to live safely and freely in these United States of America. There's nothing radical or leftist about declaring loudly and proudly that Black Lives Matter. So I'm the one who's here to tell you that we're gonna win this year.
Yes.
We will win. This is not an opinion, it is a fact, because women are gonna bring us to victory. Not only will we win this year, because that's a fact and inevitable, but we're gonna make history together. Sisters and brothers, in the great state of Idaho, we are going to elect the first Native American woman governor representing Canada. In the great state of Georgia, we are going to elect the first African American woman, Stacey Abrams. In the great state of Michigan, we're going to elect the first Muslim American governor, Abdul Sayed. So we want you to know that we are a group of women with a plan. And we're ready to go to work and put it all on the line. Power to the Polls is a national voter registration and voter engagement program. With our partners across the country, we will register 1 million new voters. We are very proud of our political engagement committee at the Women's March, led by Ted Jackson and Natasha Williams, our team is up here today, and we started in Nevada, in the Silver State, because we know you're going to set the tone and the precedent for the rest of the country. You already showed us what you got in Nevada in 2016, and you're going to show the rest of the country what you got in 2018. I want that governorship, and I want Dean Heller out of a job in 2018. This tour just started and we're kicking it off here, but we're proud to tell you about the next 3 states we're going to. Get ready for us, Lone Star State, we're coming to Texas. Get ready for us, Pennsylvania. And we're gonna go right to the center of the country. Get ready for us, great state of Ohio. Y'all ready to win? Let me hear you one more time. They gotta hear you all the way on the other side of the country. Y'all ready to win? You can count on us at the Women's March to continue to be on the front lines, to continue to sacrifice everything, because the most marginalized communities are counting on us. We will not let down our families, our communities, the most vulnerable amongst us. We have a lot at stake. We got a lot of work to do, and we need you out on these streets, knocking these doors, making those phone calls, registering to vote. We're gonna win, but I don't like to just win. We gotta win big, real big. The story come the day after the November elections this year is gonna be the most beautiful headline you ever seen. Women of the United States of America brought us to victory.
And ripples throughout an entire community and beyond. So here is my plea. I urge you to demand Congress to pass federal life-saving gun reform legislation now. And if they don't do it, elect representatives who will. And not just that, and this is really important, nobody talks about this. I implore you to support all survivors of gun violence. The gun violence that you see on TV for a week after a mass shooting, but also the gun violence of suicides, of robberies, of day-to-day living that happens every day in America. 33,000 a year killed by guns. This is hard work. PTSD is a debilitating reality that we all live with every day, and I can tell you after 20 years, it does not go away. 10 days ago, my dear friend Eddie, a survivor and tireless activist who I marched with last year in DC, took his own life. A bullet never entered his body, but gun violence killed him anyway. 37 years after witnessing his mother gunned down in front of him. To put this in perspective, I just found out today that 4 survivors of the Las Vegas shooting have since committed suicide. I ache for this community because I know the long road ahead, but I also know that you will survive. My friends in Sandy Hook say 2 things that resonate with me. They say love wins, and they say honor with action. So it is with deep compassion and gratitude
that I welcome Christine Carria, who was at Route 91 on October 1st. She's standing with Heather Goose, who was also there, and Sheikah Hamilton from the Million Mile March and Brady campaign.
The last time I was in a crowd this size, it didn't end up so well. I had to run for my life. I'm a survivor of the largest mass shootings in modern U.S. history. October 1st forever changed my life. Although I have no bullet wounds, I was physically injured and have endured many ongoing complications. But perhaps what's most daunting are the emotional injuries and the invisible scars that will remain with me for the rest of my life. I know that only by taking positive action will I truly be on the journey to healing. And that most importantly, not doing anything was just not an option. While doing research, I came across the Brady campaign to prevent gun violence. I had certainly heard of the organization before. I knew my values aligned with theirs, but now it's time to take action. Today, almost 4 months after the shooting, I'm now the president of the Las Vegas chapter, along with my fellow survivor, Heather Goose, and hundreds of others. Last month, 2 other survivors and I traveled to Washington, D.C. to testify on the Senate floor to ban bump stocks. This can and will happen. We felt and saw firsthand the power of what just 3 women can have when they have a message this profound. We met with senators and House representatives from multiple states. We know who hurt us, and we certainly know who will get our votes. Now, just imagine what thousands of women can achieve by making a commitment and then taking action. It was hard being here and speaking in front of a large crowd, and also just plain scary. Ever since that night, that unthinkable night at the Route 91 Music Festival, I'm always overlooking my shoulder, and thank God, I'm looking around and I see the snipers, and thank God for them. But here I am, and I'm so proud to be speaking to you at this historic event, at this women's rally. And like I said, doing nothing's not an option. No one should be afraid for their life to attend a concert, or go to a movie, or a nightclub, or to the grocery store, or go to school. And I definitely don't want or feel like I should be in fear to be shot or murdered at the one place I'm finding comfort right now, at church, like in Sutherland Springs. Voting for politicians who support background checks on all gun sales, keeping guns out of the hands of domestic violence offenders, and creating a national response and a bill to address the staggering needs of all mass shooting victims is what's right, and it needs to happen. We have the right. We have the responsibility as women to register and vote on behalf of candidates who promote these issues. It's case in point. A woman is shot and killed by a current or former partner every 16 hours. However, In states where expanded Brady background checks are enforced, that rate is decreased by 47%.
Wow.
Yep.
Gun violence is a woman's issue. It is. I'm here today to speak for those who no longer have a vote. I'm here today asking you to stand with me. It's our time. Raise your voices. Back it up with action. Show that we women aren't backing down from these issues. We're strong. We're committed. We are bringing our power to the polls. I am going to live for those who died. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful introduction. It's such a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. Can I just get a little housekeeping out the way? If I may. You know, I know some folks are, there's some folks who like to separate folks.
There's some space for
We
you.
don't really have time for that. The Women's March, the organizers of this march, this march is being led by women of color. Can we get an amen on that? But within that construct of being led by women of color, I gotta put a special message out for black women. Is that all right?
Let's see.
So to black women, I want you to not allow anybody to make you feel marginalized. And if you feel as though you are not being invited or getting the respect that you deserve, you got to do what Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm did.
Honestly, I'm willing to wait.
And not only do you bring your seat, but baby, it may come a time when you got to kick the door in. Can I get some on that?
This is fun though. It is. It's
Black girl magic is real. So
I
now,
realized how
meanwhile,
cold it
back
would be
in my
though.
speech, I had to
I
get that
realized
off
how
my
cold it
chest.
would be though.
Some folks
Well, that's why I
don't
brought
want to
this
give
sweatshirt
the
on.
Women's March the credit that they deserve for being an organization, a movement that is led by women of color. So we just had to get that out the way. So I'm feeling all kinds of people this afternoon, but I'm feeling Dr. Maya Angelou, if I may. And she said the following. She said, it may be necessary to encounter defeats so that we know who the hell we are. In other words, sisters and brothers, it might be necessary from time to time for us to go through some stuff for us to be reminded who the hell we are. And I just want to say, sisters, because I'm feeling this thing, and I know that a year ago, the women all over this world showed not just this nation, but this world who the hell we are. But we can't just wait and worry about the person in the White House. We got to be on and popping every single election cycle, power to the poll.
When I sneeze, I
So who the hell are we? We are the bold and the beautiful.
Yes.
Using our gifts as a guiding light of hope for all my children. At times it may seem as if we are in another world as we fight against hate
hate and half-truths and hopelessness. But do not fear, sisters, because the young and the restless are uniting with the seasoned and the sensational. And we will reclaim the days of our lives. Despite the scandal around us, we must reclaim the days of our lives as we search for tomorrow. A brighter, vibrant, inclusive, revolutionary tomorrow. And as the black lightning streaks the sky and the Black Panther leads the nation, we know that this world is rising with Wonder Women. Can I get it? This age, this time, this moment is being called and led by Wonder Women to lead and to leverage and to love. Because love is the fiercest of them all. You know, sometimes we got this thing twisted. There's a song in the African American tradition that said, "Love lifted me." Love is not weak. Love is powerful. Love is fierce. Love is beautiful. Love is the fiercest of them all. And it is because of love that we assemble here today to reaffirm our commitment to each other, to our communities, to this nation, and to this world. Love is the fiercest of them all. It is because of love that we protested in Ferguson. It is because of love that we feel the pain of our sisters and brothers in Flint, Michigan, who still don't have clean water.
They haven't had water in 4 years.
It is because of love that we demand that our sisters and brothers in Flint, Michigan, finally, after almost 4 years, get some clean water.
They need it.
It is because of love that we know that we must stand side by side with the folks in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. They shouldn't have to beg for our help. It is because of love that we march. It is because of love that we assemble. It is because of love that we run. It is because of love that we hope. It is because of love that we dream. And can I just say this, sisters? See, our mission is so high, we can't get over it. And our mission is so low, we can't get under it. And our mission is so wide, we cannot get around it. See, we're not looking for nobody else to do what all of us are called and assigned to do. And so whether that is running for office or supporting somebody who's running for office or getting involved in your community, when you look to the left or you look to the right, baby, it's you. The most important look is the look in the mirror. Love is the fiercest of them all. And ladies, can I just say this? I know we got some men around, but I got to talk to the sisters. That it is our obligation that even if we don't agree, to do so in a way that is filled with love. Hard on the issues, soft on people. You know, we just celebrated, and it always amazes me how every February we assemble as a nation and we give a shout out, a praise to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who deserves all of that praise. But yet, we must reconcile in our lives, in our lifetime, in this moment right now, to not only pay homage to him and pay homage to Coretta Scott King, but we have to reconcile in our minds that we are going to do what is necessary to walk that path. And it is hard sometimes, but can I just say this? Dr. King once said that darkness can never do away with darkness, only light can. And hate cannot drive out hate, only love can. Love, love, love
Love is the fiercest of them all. So sisters, we have work to do. For generations yet unborn, we must stand up, we must be up, we must lift up, we must fight up. But in all that we do, we must do it in love. And I know it's hard sometimes. I do know. I get it. Because some folks have you speaking in tongues. Where my church folks at? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But we are on assignment, and we were called for this moment, for this time, for this mission. Right now. It is not enough to talk about our foremothers and our forefathers. The question becomes, what are we going to do to be the change? What are we going to do to stand up, to speak up, to shout up, to be up, to make a difference in this world right now? Love! 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 Love is the fiercest of them all. God bless you, Women's March.
Like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change will come. Oh yes, indeed. It's been too hard living, and I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. Oh, it's been a long time coming, and I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Yes, then I go to my brother. And I say, brother, help me please. Oh, then he winds up knocking me, yeah. Knocking me down to my knees. There were times when I thought I couldn't last very long. Now I know I'm able to carry on. Oh, it's been a long time coming, and I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool. It's like, oh.
I know, yeah.
Pedal for once.
Change gonna come. A change gonna come.
It's sort of brilliant that we're wearing the scarves now.
Yes, a
It's
change. I know a change.
It's like if you have a
We
blanket.
got a change. We got a
That looks
change.
like a blanket. Just get finger into it.
A change gonna come. All right now, ladies. Y'all know we've been running things for a very long time. We always running things. I want to thank Tamika for having me here. Thank you, my love. You are amazing. And all the women here, you make me so proud. Thank you so much for inspiring me and so many of us. This next song I wrote when I was having a woman kind of day. I didn't feel like coming in the studio and recording. I didn't want to be there. And And I had two men I was writing with, and they were like, "You just being a woman." I said, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
So this song is called Pieces of Me. It's about the complexities of being a woman. It's all right to be vulnerable, to be strong, to be tired, to want more, to say I deserve more, and to say no, I'm not having that. So here's a song for all my ladies out there. It's called Pieces of Me. Here we go. People just don't know what I'm about. They haven't seen what's there behind my smile. There's so much more of me I'm showing
What?
now.
I wonder if there is right
It's all
there
the
then.
pieces of me.
Don't know.
When it looks like I'm up, sometimes I'm down. I'm alone even with people all around. But that don't change the happiness I found. These are the pieces of me. So when you look my face, you gotta know that I'm made of everything, love and pain. Oh, pieces of me, just like every woman I know. I'm complicated, for sure. But when I love till there's no love no more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many colors make up the woman that you see. A good friend and lover, yes I am. I can run the business and make time for fantasies. Now I'm gonna make mistakes from time to time. But in the end, believe it, I'm gonna fly. No matter if I'm wrong or if I'm right, all the pieces of me. When you look at my face, you gotta know that
It's gonna be strange to do sign language music. To sign music. He looks like he's doing a good job for what I can tell. He's like into it.
But when I love till there's no love no more. Oh yeah. As the pieces of me start to unfold, now I start to understand all that I am. A woman not afraid to be strong. Look at my face. Oh, you gotta know. I'm everything from love and pain. The pieces of me, yeah. Just like every woman. Yes, I'm complicated. Hey, yeah. Okay, repeat after me. 'Cause I'm a woman. 'Cause I'm a woman.
Woman!
Come on. 'Cause I'm a woman.
Woman! Woman!
'Cause I'm a what?
Woman!
A what?
A woman!
Say it. Come on.
Woman!
What are you?
Woman!
Come on.
A woman!
Come on.
A woman!
Hey. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You got it. Listen, ladies, never lose your walk. Never lose your walk. No matter what they say about you, you're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. Put your walk together. You can be whatever you want to be. Whatever you dream to be. We can change the world. Yeah. Y'all not listening to me though. That's all right.
can receive the relief of sexual harassment in the workplace. We are breaking down silos socioeconomically, and we're saying, not on our watch are you going to define who America and what America is. And these women, and the 26,000 seeking to run for office, to resist bigotry, fight misogyny, and organize one person at a time, that's what gives us hope. And what is the source of our hope? Look around, ladies. What gives us hope? Us. Each and every one of us has stood up, doubled down to demonstrate what America stands for. With our votes, with our phone calls to Congress, to defeat the repeal of health care, and standing up for dreamers. And let's not forget that this fight is not easy. We lost our lives to this movement. Heather Heyer, who marched in Charlottesville to protest white nationalists, was run down by a cowardly neo-Nazi. Yep. She will forever be an American patriot. She is my hero. And now, there's a power to the polls. Mi gente Latina, I have to speak to you right now because Latinx, my nasty women, my bad hombres, I know what you are feeling and what you are suffering. And the only way we get to the power is the power of the polls. Every single one of us, it's time to register. At Voto Latino, we've registered 500,000 people. Help us register 1 million individuals. We flex our muscle. We tell them what America looks like. And after you register your friends. Show up at the polls. Because after we leave here, let's be clear. It's game on. It's time to sit up, get up, and get them out.
Hey, Vegas. I'm going to talk quick because there's a few of us up here. I want to say, I think as we reflect back on 2017, it's important to see how we've endured. And it's important to see this mass awakening that is the silver lining. As an out, proud trans woman, I know it was a challenge to radiate self-love every single day under an administration who has systemically attacked us. To get up every day and make space for myself and my sisters and tell myself that I am worthy in a world of toxic masculinity that fetishizes our bodies but doesn't see the value in our lives when our trans sisters are slain in the streets. So while we're here, I think it's important to take a moment and look around. Look around at your sisters. Look around at the intersecting identities. White, black, brown, trans, cis, undocumented. And it's important for us to remember that there are some of us that are at greater risk than others. And I ask that we take a pledge to take care of one another, because as a collective voice, we are stronger than any one of our voices alone, and none of us ever need to be alone again. The time is up. Time is up on abusing power, on sexual harassment, marginalization, xenophobia, transphobia, and the media turning a blind eye to our trans sisters who have been lost at the hands of anti-trans violence. Men, I'm talking directly to you. You don't get to sit up there and watch trans porn and turn a blind eye when we're murdered in the streets anymore. So let us harness our power and head to the polls, because if you are considered the other, guess what? You're part of the collective minority, which is now the majority. So now we have to show them exactly how fucking powerful we really are.
Good evening, Las Vegas. I'm a proud black trans woman of color. And I stand here fighting for trans women of color and women that are incarcerated. I say that to say this. As long as you can hear my heels tap as I run and file papers for the man that doesn't even know my name, that just calls me hot stuff, you will hear my voice. As the woman and the little girls that are placed into human trafficking, that no one believes their story until they cry out, you will hear my voice. As you sit here and you forget our trans brothers and sisters that have been mentally killed, destroyed, and built down and belittled, you will hear my voice. As I stand here today, this is a voice of a proud trans black woman that I will fight with all my brothers and sisters that stand right next to me. And at the end of the day, as long as you hear the taps of my heels on this ground, you will hear my voice.
What's up, beautiful people? I say, what's up, beautiful people? What's up, beautiful people? A mí me gusta darle gracias a mi poder superior por darme la oportunidad de estar aquí con ustedes. I just honor my higher power for giving me the opportunity to be here with all of you today. I also want to honor the land that we're all standing on today. I also want to honor your presence here today, because without you, there will not be no movement. I am a very privileged trans Latina immigrant woman who has overcome many different challenges, including sexual abuse, harassment, beatings, jail, everything that you can think of, I have survived. But the same issues that I have overcome are the same issues that my trans siblings continue to experience. So I have a call for you. I have a demand for all of you. It's important that we understand that our movement will not advance until all of us walk together to the finish line. And we need to open our minds and our hearts and our fucking pockets to put money into the movement. You know, the theme of this meeting, of this gathering, is for us to be empowered to vote, to get those motherfuckers out of office.
Yeah.
And we can become empowered to do that, but we have to make sure that those that we put in office, we hold them accountable for the bullshit that they do. They are there for us, not for those companies that give them money. And just as we put them into office, we can get them out. Can we do it?
Yeah!
Can we fucking do it?
Yes!
When I say people, you say power! People!
Power!
People!
Power!
People!
Power!
People!
Power!
That's what I'm talking about. Take your power everywhere you go and get those motherfuckers out! I see you, baby. Power to the pose.
Never had someone to show me love. Love like this before.
Now that we have the beauty, a brand new life I can see. Never thought you'd be special.
shout out to all my faithfuls out here in Vegas. I just want to do this song right here, and I want to dedicate this to all the ladies out here today. Y'all might remember this one. Whatever you want, whatever you need, anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally. 'Cause every woman, it's only me. It's all in me.
If you like a woman, let me see you put your hands in the air. That's right. If you really want your hands up in the air. 2, 3, 4.
I'm not going to be quite so bombastic. I just want to tell you, Sarsour. You know, I've been alive for 13 presidents. And I have never seen anyone like the president that we have. I can't even call him the president. Right. Has been willing to destroy our country for money and power. I've never seen it, never believed that it could happen. And I just want to tell you girls and guys, but I want to tell you girls mostly, that, you know, in 1776, the Union was formed. In 1920, we got the vote. What I'm going to tell you now is it's time to step up to the plate and deserve it and to own it. It's time for women to own it, you know? If you don't take it, no one's going to give it to you. Yeah. And if you don't have a vote, you don't have a voice. Yeah. So, I want to just tell you something about my family. My grandmother had my mother when she was 14 years old. She picked cotton and didn't have a say in anything. My mother thought that you had to have a man take care of you. And even though she had more fun when she was divorced and with her girlfriends, all those women still thought that that was what had to happen. I was kind of a punk girl, and a little bit balls to the wall, but you know. Okay, all right. Like I didn't steal the horse. I just jumped on him and rode until the fence gave up, and then I saw a boxcar and I jumped in it. So that's kind of who I was at the time. And then I got married, and I lost a lot of my power through marriage, and it was my fault. You know, it was really my fault. I was young. It took me a long, long time to get back the power that you see that I have. And even now, it's so crazy. Even now, like in doing business, I have to ask 3 times for what a man would have to ask for once. You know? And when I ask for it, like if you ask for it, you're a bitch, and if you don't ask for it, they just run over you. Yes. So, and I know there's guys out there that are not like that, and these are the guys that are raised by women like me. So, I don't have that much to say. Let me see if I've got anything else here. Right. I was in, you know, there was a march down Fifth Avenue the night that Trump became whatever he became. And And I didn't mean to get in it. I had taken a shower. I was really upset because this is the second time this has happened to me. The last time it happened to me, I was with Al Gore in Nashville, getting my makeup on, ready to go to the party, and then it just flashed, Bush is the president. And this time, I was up in the room with Hillary and putting my makeup on, and then I thought, to hell with this, I'm not putting anything on until I find out what's gonna happen, and then he became the president. So, and I think this is one of the worst times in our history, and that's why I honestly believe that women are going to be the ones that fix it. And that's no bullshit, because, you know, if you want a job done right, get a woman.
Yes!
There used to be a dance team called Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, okay? And they said, you know, he's so great, he's the best dancer in the world. And then somebody said, yeah, but she does it backwards in heels.
Yes!
And that's what women are. We do it backwards in heels, okay? So, this is all I have to tell you. Just stay strong, and remember, if you don't have a vote, you don't have a voice.
Yes!
Hello, Women's Month.
P2P to RT Vote. Thank you for coming.
So many women.
Let's win!
President, but the world changed again the day after. The day that women in Washington and Boston and all across this country became an army. The Women's March was only the beginning. For every one of us who is deep down unhappy about Donald Trump's election and his embarrassing performance as president, we have a job to do. Get some people elected who reflect our values. And that means starting work right now on the 2018 elections. Not next month, not next week, not later tonight. Start right now, right this minute. If you don't like how 2016 came out, join a group. Volunteer for a voter registration drive outside your supermarket or on your college campus and help pull in new people. If there's no place to volunteer, build it yourself. Yeah, it's hard, but this is what it takes to make real change. Or find another way to help. Push the state legislatures that still don't have same-day registration and early voting. Fight racist voter suppression laws. Oppose gerrymandering. Remember, if everyone votes, we win. If everyone votes, America wins. And one more thing. Think about running for office. Look, I didn't have any political experience when I launched my first campaign in 2012, but I jumped into the deep end of the pool, and you can too. You can run, or you can help someone else run. The kind of people we need in public office aren't the ones who can collect millions of dollars from the Koch brothers. Nope, we need you. Democracy isn't something that we can only care about once every 4 years. Whatever you do, however you step up, do everything possible to make 2018 the year that makes history. Let's show that democracy works. We will resist, we will persist, and we will win.